So, it's been a little while since my last Deepwoken video. In between, I quit for around 2 years and just recently came back to play the game for about a month now. But that's enough about me. This video will go over my interview with one of Deepwoken's first testers, Red Petal, better known as Demstormz. Huge thanks to him for agreeing to be interviewed, and this video wouldn't be possible without him. Some of you might know that Deepwoken isn't the first popular game by Archmage and Raguzer. The previous game, Rogue Lineage, was popular from 2019 all the way up until the release of Deepwoken. Demstormz was one of the first big YouTubers to make content for the game, and was invited to be one of the first testers because of that. In his own words, he was DM'd by the developers and invited to go check out the game. Eventually, he was even invited to host the first ever Q&A for Deepwoken, which was the Rogue Lineage community's first peek into what the game was like. But that's enough introductions. Now it's time to get on to the actual interview itself. My first question for him was whether or not he still played the game and if he enjoyed it at all. He said that he enjoyed the game the most during testing because of the sense of community, which in my opinion, the Deepwoken of today lacks. I then asked him about the ways in which the game changed from its early stages of development. His answers were pretty expected, mainly focusing on the mantra system. In testing, every mantra had to be cast like Flame Wisp, where the more modifications you add on it, the more key presses you will have to do. You also had to craft your mantras with certain types of mantra cores, giving different mantras instead of rolling them through the card system. Personally, I think that the old system was vastly better than what we have today. Instead of the devs having to add multiple systems to prevent the RNG in mantras, like the Mystic and Shrines, you'd be able to have whatever you wanted on your build without the extra hassle. The next question was about the misconceptions that people have about the old Deepwoken. Demstormz said that the old combat system felt a lot worse in comparison to today's, and that combos weren't a thing during pre-release because blocking and parrying was 100% true. Basically, there's no parry cooldown. He thinks that without combos, Deepwoken becomes boring. To show an example, I'm going to show a clip from the Deepwoken Direct. As you can see, the combat was vastly different with many differing aspects such as the parrying system and old venting system. Anyways, back to the interview. I asked him if there was anything about pre-release Deepwoken that wasn't widely known. He said that Vision Shaper used to be an unobtainable attunement that was gatekept by one of the developers, who also trolled by saying it was obtainable somehow. I personally remember hearing about rumors of illusion magic during the first week or two of Deepwoken's release, although those probably stemmed from the talent card description that mentioned it rather than the testers. The next question was about his favorite and least favorite part of old Deepwoken. His favorite part of the game was the community and the memories he made with them. There were a lot of fun tourneys, and it was made all the more fun because he knew every single tester. His least favorite part was the slow-paced movement of the early days, which I completely agree with. In my opinion, half of the fun of Deepwoken's combat today stems from the fast-paced movement mechanics. I then followed up asking if there was still a community of testers that played the game, or if he still interacted with the people from that time. He said that he sadly didn't talk to anybody from that community anymore, excluding his pre-existing friend group, and that they had all moved on from Deepwoken, including Demstormz himself. Apparently when the game was open to testing, every tester would grind it, which is a testament to how fun the game was, even at the early stage it was in. People were constantly wiping and making new characters because of the roguelike nature of the game, and even more so when people are first learning the game. He says that the testers were 80% active. Next, I asked him what his favorite and least favorite part of the current Deepwoken was. I'll be quoting him directly for this. My favorite is easily making builds, because you can do a lot of creative stuff. Granted, it's at the sacrifice of creating a build that's viable in the meta, but that's my least favorite part. HP meta. I hate it because you don't have to sacrifice much damage on a 500 plus HP build. It all comes down to grinding for good gear and a little bit of fortitude. People can easily crack 550 HP and still do stupid damage, while it takes an insane amount of investment to get any of the stuff that's actually cool. So basically, you're forced to sacrifice on having a viable build if you want to have any fun. And yeah, that's it for the scripted section of this video. I do want to add a little disclaimer about whether or not Demstormz is actually the first tester of Deepwoken. The title is a little bit clickbaity because he said that himself, that he's one of the first 10 people to test the game. So maybe he's not the first tester, but you know, it's good for views. But yeah, this is my first YouTube video in quite a long time, so hopefully you enjoyed it. If there's anything I can improve on, please write it down in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching.